name is Josiah. I work here at Madcap Coffee Company, and I'm involved with the coffee education here.
Hi, I'm Lauren. I'm a barista at Madcap, and I'm here to learn about this brew.
Awesome. We're going to be doing the AeroPress. We're going to walk through one recipe. There are thousands of recipes out there on the internet. It's a great brewing device to have some fun and change different variables to yield a different type of beverage. Today we're going to be making a very small amount of coffee, and then we're going to be adding water to it to yield the type of coffee cup that you enjoy at home.
So it would still be the same size of coffee that I would get at home from a different method?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So if you're interested in following along, you can pause the video here and see all the recipe specs. It'll also be linked in our journal on madcapcoffee.com, so feel free to follow along.
Sounds great. I'm excited. This is my first time using an AeroPress.
I love it. It's a great way to make some fast coffee if you're on the go, if you're camping, or just looking to switch things up at home.
Yeah, easy to travel with, I think, too.
Totally. So today we're going to be using Daydream. I really like this coffee on our AeroPress because the way that an AeroPress can make the acidity really shine, it's got really nice citrus and floral notes. So I'm really excited about that today.
I like Daydream as well. I'm excited to see what it's like here.
I love it. So we're going to be using 18 grams of coffee ground at a nice medium to fine grind size. We're going to be using 80 grams of filtered water at 208 degrees. All right? Our process is going to take around 3 to 3.5 minutes total.
Okay.
And then we'll walk through the bypass phase after we brew. Sound good?
Yeah.
Cool. So if you want to, let's start by getting our AeroPress set up. So we can take these two halves. We're going to be doing the inverted method, which means we're going to connect these first and then essentially be brewing upside down and flip it at the end. So if you want to add the plunger to the bottom piece, you can go right to the 3.
You really got to give it some force.
Takes a little bit of effort at first. Perfect. So we're going to go right to the 3. Awesome.
3.
And you can set that right on the scale. So we've got our opening up top so we can add our coffee in on top. Then we're going to be using just one paper filter.
Okay.
And we should rinse this first to get rid of any papery taste from that filter. It also helps it adhere to the cap. So I'll hand these to you. If you want to just rinse over top of the cup so you don't make a big mess, and just hold it on the edge so you don't burn your fingers.
Does it matter that I use hot water to rinse it?
Hot water will really rinse out any of those fibers that we don't want in the filter, so definitely using the same water that we're going to use to brew is a really important step.
That makes sense.
Good question. Perfect, and we'll come back to that in a second. So now let's tare our scale so we're off at 0 and we can add our 18 grams of ground coffee. Let's add the coffee first. Yeah, and try to get it right into the chute. It is a little bit of a small space. Perfect, and we're right at 18. And then let's give it a nice shake and then tare our scale again. So when you add the 80 grams of water, feel free to pour pretty heavy to create some agitation in this coffee bed because it's a rather deep bed in the small brewing device.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Do I need to just pour it all at once?
You can
give
pour
a swirl?
it all at once. You can do a little swirl. It's not necessary because we're going to
Okay.
give it a nice stir as well. But as soon as you start pouring, let's start the timer. So pour pretty heavy. And once we get to our 80 grams, perfect. We want to use our stir stick to fully saturate the coffee bed.
Do I go all the way to the bottom?
You can go all the way to the bottom and just go back and forth, and we're going to stir for about 10 seconds. And that's perfect. And just set that right on the towel. Lovely. And now let's put our cap on, and this is going to, flip it upside down, exactly. You can insert it, and then it twists to lock. So now we're locked in.
Perfect.
We're gonna let this sit until we hit the 3-minute mark. And at the 3-minute mark, we're going to invert and then plunge.
Plunge, wow. Different than a plunger at home?
Different than a plunger at home.
Okay.
We're going to be forcing the pressure of the air through the water. We're gonna push the water through the coffee bed.
Okay.
That amount of pressure allows us to brew a little bit faster and yields a really nice clean cup of coffee. Now, question for you before we get to the bypass phase.
Okay.
How do you usually like your coffee? Do you like more full-bodied or more delicate?
I think I like a little bit more delicate, a little fruity.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We're gonna plunge into this decanter and we're gonna add 100 grams of water. That's gonna make a nice, delicate, floral cup of coffee. If you wanted something more on the full-bodied side, we could just add 50 grams of water, and that'll have a nice, rich, deeper sweetness.
That's
Cool?
very versatile.
Super versatile. If you're looking for some milk, you could add 75 to 150 grams of steamed milk, and you'd get a nice cappuccino or latte with the same recipe.
That's awesome.
Fascinating.
Home lattes.
Home lattes. Dream come true. So now that we're getting close to that 3-minute mark, let's take the decanter. Now we're gonna plunge into a decanter. You can definitely plunge into a mug directly.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have you put this upside down because this is the inverted method. So I'll let you take that, put it right upside down, and I like to grab it by the side.
Which hand should I use, my left or my
I
right?
use my left because then we can flip it
Okay.
that way. And then grab the AeroPress, give it a nice turn. Perfect. Well, it's not plunge yet. I'm gonna move this out of the way and move this in front of you. Now, give it a nice slow plunge. It should take about 10 to 20 seconds until you hear that hiss. Keep going. There, the hiss indicates that we plunged all of the water through the coffee bed and we're now ready to remove our AeroPress and add our water. So if you want to put the AeroPress right onto the cup so we don't make a mess. Perfect. And now I'll move this back in front of you. You said you like a nice delicate floral cup of coffee? Cool. So we're gonna add 100 grams of water to this. So we'll tare our scale and add 100 grams. Awesome. Now with this, if you want to give it a nice swirl to integrate everything together. Now we're going to be sharing this coffee, so we used a decanter and have our 2 tasting cups here. And if you want to split it, I would love to try some.
Me too. This looks very good too.
So we're looking for a nice, clean, bright, juicy cup of coffee. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Cheers.
Cheers.
Well done.
It smells really good. Tastes great. It's very smooth.
Smooth, delicate,
Juicy.
super floral. Enjoy.
It's so hot.